Hello my grandbabies. Do y'all know this one pop star who serves but no one's eating? A hit on Twitter, but a flop in real life. Ladies and gentlemen,
and non-binaries of the interweb.
I'm talking about Swedish pop star Zara Larsson. Zara Larsson is one of many artists who, despite giving us catchy bops, goes under the radar, resulting in many coining her criminally underrated. The internet also refers to her as Beyoncé's white daughter, due to her captivating dance moves, powerful belting skills, and dance tracks. Now, I know this is a playful adoration type meme on the net, but if I have to compare her to anyone, it'll be Dua Lipa, as they have a somewhat similar background of being non-US citizens whose genre of pop music have that world Eurocentric vibe. But unlike Dua Lipa and Beyoncé, Homegirl is unknown beyond the internet. But with recent developments in her career, it appears Zara is on the brink of a breakthrough that will finally propel her outside of cyberspace into the wider ether, becoming a household name. In this video, let's dissect the career of Swedish pop star Zara Larsson. What's holding her back in her career? Is she really as good as they say she is on the net? Or is she just being overhyped? I am Don, your pop culture boy. Let's get into it.
Catastrophic. And it's been so many like hit tweets and people like TikToks or whatever with like hundreds and thousands of likes. I'm like, buy the album then. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Hello, like, it just doesn't make sense to me, honestly.
Artists like Zara Larsson experience what I like to call the bop artist curse. These artists make radio-friendly songs that is widely known by the general public, while their names remain relatively unknown. A reason for this is because their music tend to be so catchy that it get confined to mainly public spaces such as department stores, which a lot of people are now calling department store music. And this happened because these songs are made purely for radio, which lacks in-depth traits that it needs to kind of set it apart, along with non-distinguishable vocals. And I'm not shading Zara Larsson, I'm just giving you my honest opinion on her music, more so when it comes to her early works. Nonetheless, this is the reason why she goes hard online, i.e. Twitter and TikTok, but not offline or in real life. Other names that are experiencing or have experienced the bop artist curse are BB Rexa, Jess Glynn. It's her song titled Hold My Hand we hear on the Jet to You holiday meme. And another act that falls in this lane is Ava Max or Avamax. Again, some of us might know who these people are, but if you ask someone on the street who they are, they're like, I don't know.
I haven't heard of him.
Even though they have probably heard their music played in public spaces. Also, the bop artist curse isn't always indicative of, oh, they are just overall generic artists. Not necessarily, as it can also be the case of their most generic songs just happen to pop off instead of their deep cuts, which ultimately gets known. Not them, the artists. In other words, it can also be just a perception thing and a label one have to overcome, which in that case, Dua Lipa comes to mind, as the pop artist curse hindered her a bit in her early career prior her breakthrough with Future Nostalgia, which in my opinion was when people really started connecting her to her prior tracks. If you are this far into the video and you're still like, who is Zara Larsson? I don't know who she is. I'm sure you've heard her songs. Zara is the voice behind the Clean Bandits' 2017 hit Symphony, which goes like this. I wanna be part of your symphony. Yeah, I know I hate that. No crumbs left.
I mean, let me ask the audience.
2015's Never Forget You and electro-pop EDM concoction alongside British artist MNEK is another one of her bangers, and if you haven't heard any of those, I'm sure you've heard her 2016 single Ain't My Fault, which is a club banger, if I might add. A banger. And I'm not going to perform those because, I'm not going to do that. Like, y'all going to have to start paying me, and I'm not going to do that. Okay. I'm not going to do that. Not going to do that.
You are completely delusional.
Now, in terms of her lore, As I mentioned earlier, she is from Sweden, south of Stockholm to be exact, in Tallkrogen, a suburban city district. Born Zara Maria Larsson on December 16, 1997, Zara wanted to be famous at a very young age and admired the immortalized status of the late Elvis Presley, citing she wanted to be immortalized like him since age 5. Which is a very self-assured statement from a 5-year-old. Kind of scary as well. Now, I don't know about you, but kids in entertainment scare the shit out of me. Hello. In 2008, at age 11, she entered the second season of Talang, the Swedish version of Got Talent, after winning and taking the cash prize of 500,000 kronar. From 2009 to 2010, Zara appeared on another show called Look, I'm not gonna even attempt because I know I'm gonna fuck it up, but it translates to I Shall Become a Star. It's a reality show that followed young talent navigating the terrains of fame. During this time, she and her manager flew out to Los Angeles with hopes of getting signed to one of the 3 major labels, but was turned down by all 3, including Disney. But maybe this was for the better, as she was too young at the time. Sometimes artists trying to go global too fast is not a good thing. It's best when they first secure their roots in their native country before attempting to go worldwide. Creating that foundation or building that rapport with your countrymen, because if you can't make it where you're from or get that stamp of approval from them, then more than likely you won't be able to make it anywhere else. And of course, I'm only talking about artists here. I'm not talking about actors, or, I don't know, someone who's trying to get work in finance. And this was the consequent step for Zara Larsson, signing with indie label TEN Music Group in 2012 at 14, located in her homeland, Sweden. She released a couple of EPs soon after, before her debut studio album in 2014 titled One, which was released exclusively in Scandinavian territories through a joint venture through TEN Music Group and Universal, before it was finally released internationally on digital platforms in 2024. The project also went platinum in Sweden, selling 40,000 units. Just some insight, the certification process is different and varies depending on the region in Europe, unlike the US where 1 million units equates to platinum for both albums and singles. In Sweden, it's 30k for albums and 40k for singles. Personally, I didn't know about Zara back then, and it wasn't until 2015 where I discovered her through her hyper-vibrant Lush Life music video on MTV Hits, the lead single from her second studio album, 2017's So Good. Also, 2015 was probably the last time I actually watched TV. Anyway, Lush Life definitely set the tone for her being introduced globally, especially to an American audience, aided by her signing with Epic's US division, giving her an extra push. Compared to her previous singles, Lush Life charted in way more territories and markets outside of Europe. The track has been certified 3 times platinum in the US and is her most streamed song on Spotify. Lush Life was really a major highlight in her career, and although she would release hits after such as Symphony as a featured act, Ruin My Life or Venus afterwards, unfortunately she kind of peaked or hit a ceiling during her 2015 to 2017 debut run, despite having popular songs on the radio throughout the late 10s and in this decade. Outside of the bop artist curse, because that cannot be the only hindrance in her career, as to why isn't she a bigger artist in the US, a market she's been trying to impact for some time now. What's really holding her back? Is she really overhyped? To answer these questions, I think the obvious factor is her background, the fact that she is non-American, the fact that she is European, or a Euro girl. Now, this is not to say that the American market isn't accepting of pop stars from Europe. not at all. And we have artists such as Adele, Harry Styles, or even, newcomer Lola Young as proof. However, they are from the UK, and while it's not a walk in the park in terms of marketing acts from the UK in the US either, it appears to be a lot easier when compared to acts from other countries outside of the UK in Europe. And while it's a lot easier for artists to penetrate the US market, no matter their location due to social media, in terms of Europe, it appears those who are not in the UK, such as Zara Larsson, have more struggles to overcome in regards to cultural differences, especially with American audience valuing authenticity and relatability. And there are other factors such as financial struggles, it being very costly to maintain a well-rounded presence as a non-US citizen. For example, cost of living and other expenses related to immigration that also cuts into her budget. And Zara is still based in Stockholm, Sweden. But for this video, we'll only focus on the musicality. And on that note, let's focus on her artistry. Is she overhyped? Now, in my opinion, I don't think she is, due to the fact that in regards to stan culture, her online chatter is easily overcome by other standums, i.e., she doesn't have that many fans in my opinion, so what you mainly see is adoration, and it's on a normal scale in my opinion. But in regards to her material, her sound, her song structure, it's a little too simple, which isn't always a bad thing, but it's not captivating enough. Sure, she loves music and she probably is obsessed with the idea of her being an artist, but her music is very surface level, and I'm not expecting for her to save music or anything like that, but for her to get that, to get to that next level, she need to start connecting with an audience and dig a little deeper. Right now, her music, while she has improved, especially with her latest album, Midnight Sun, which I will cover in a bit, overall her music is trying to reach a wide audience, which are teeny boppers and casual listeners. And you don't want that because you will only blend in and not reach your true audience. I also think she needs to be more clear with her message by stop playing it safe and stop following trends and create something unique to her sonically. She does have this thing where she would, oversing, which reminds me of Beyoncé back in the day, but Zara Larsson is lacking in soul in my opinion, so it doesn't have that effect that it should give us, the audience. Now, other potential hindrances could be her controversies, which is concerning especially in this digital age where everything is taken way more seriously or things are taken out of context. The singer was labeled a classist after her response to a tweet in 2023 from a Twitter user describing her decision to discuss dipping her toes into acting with Twitter's favorite pop culture account, Popcrave, as the lowest someone can fall. Doing an interview with Popcrave is kind of the lowest someone can fall. OMG, this would be like me doing an interview with one of my followers, said the user. Okay, but here you are seeing it, so I guess it worked. And Popcrave have always been genuinely supportive of me, so why wouldn't I give them my time? I heard McDonald's wanted to interview you for new shifts, Zara replied. This interaction consequently resulted in backlash, with many labeling her classist for making fun of the working class and suggesting that working at a fast food chain is something to be ashamed of. Personally, I think all she did was clap back. I definitely believe it's wrong to make fun of people who work in fast food. I've worked in fast food before. I think she was well within her rights with her response, as in the handbook of clapbacks, cussing, and provocation, expect the unexpected. Was it a little odd for that to be at the tip of her tongue though? Sure. Should she have known better? Absolutely. But in the handbook of clapbacks, cussing, and provocation, there's no rules. While I understand this can hurt people's feelings, I also think there are worse things she could have said, like suck Yamada. Moreover, not condoning her response, but we can't ignore that she was provoked and most likely she felt bad and wanted to transfer that same energy. Now, here's where things got sketchy as fuck.
What the hell? Oh,
Earlier that year, she also got backlash for wearing a dress with imagery linked to white supremacy. Now, what had happened was Zara Larsson wore a mini dress to P3 Gold, an award show that the Norwegian radio station RKP3 puts on every year. According to RevolverMag.com, the dress featured a piece of Burzum's Filosofilm album art. Burzum, a now defunct black metal project, is a Norwegian music project founded by Varg Verknes. Varg is known for murdering Mayhem guitarist Euronymous in 1993 and is also suspected of church arson in the 90s. He's also known for extreme right-wing political views, including his open embrace of white supremacy and anti-Semitic beliefs. Based on what I gathered, it was also odd for some seeing her in the dress, which is posted on her TikTok, by the way, because she's never linked herself to the metal community prior. And some metal fans also, they were ticked off by that. Kind of like people wearing Tupac merch while never listening to his music type energy. After she started getting backlash online, the singer told Swedish publication Aftonbladet that she was unaware of her outfit's controversial associations and was sporting that design simply because the images looked cool. Oopsie, I had no idea, I just thought my clothes looked cool, she told the outlet. It was unfortunate. To clarify, I wasn't wearing their merchandise, I was wearing Raf Simons with a print of them, I suppose. She added, referencing the Belgian fashion designer who allegedly designed the controversial dress. What I find interesting is that she still has the video up of her sporting the dress on her TikTok to this day. Maybe she's contracted to keep it up for a time frame maybe, but again, we are now in 2025, so I find it odd that the dress is still up on her TikTok after she confirmed herself that she now understands the issue with the dress. Or maybe she's one who believes separate the artist from the artist mantra, like myself to an extent. But again, she had no awareness prior, so which would still be strange if she did. I don't know. I'm giving her the side eye because why not just take it down, seeing she supports movements such as Me Too, calling out artist allegedly Katy Perry for working with Dr. Luke, who Zara was once signed to, who fellow pop star Kesha accused and sued for R-ing her, a case Kesha lost. And to be honest, whether he's a rapist or not, he's not the nicest guy. He's very talented, and you can't take that away from him, but where do we draw the line? Said Zara in an interview with The Guardian in 2016. I find this dress situation strange, especially because of where she is from. If you know, you know. Now, let's talk about the shift, where it appears Zara Larsson might be living up to the title of being Beyoncé's white daughter, as the bop artist curse is finally being lifted, or so it appears, and its connection to the track Midnight Sun.
Get away from here!
Now, I know Midnight Sun is all the rave right now, but to be honest, we started seeing her being more visible on Twitter and TikTok from 2023 to 2024 during her Venus run, where her image/brand shifted from a teeny bopper with no unique style to a blonde Barbie-esque ethereal goddess with dark aesthetics. Basically, she turned into a fairy. Yeah. While her music didn't change that much during that era, it was her targeted and more mature branding that made her stand out, sparking curiosity. In 2024, she was the goddess of the night, but in 2025, she became the goddess of the sun with the album and single Midnight Sun, skyrocketing her Spotify monthly listeners from 10 million to now 29 million, which has also boosted her single Midnight Sun in her top 5 lists on the streaming service. Again, it's mainly her branding that caught most attention, her incorporating warm colors such as yellow into her wardrobe, changing her profile pic across her socials to the no photo user image with a yellow hibiscus flower, which represents happiness and sunshine, while also adding said yellow hibiscus flower to her current and previous album cover art on streaming platforms, further solidifying her brand, exuding vibes of the beach girl who is still vulnerable during this time of uncertainty and chaos. A strong marketing strategy for brand recognition, trust, and awareness, no longer holding on to the confusing teeny bopper image she once had that made her blend into the bushes like Homer Simpson. Meanwhile, her album Midnight Sun, while it's not the best album I've heard this year, it is getting the job done due to its rollout, which includes meme culture, which worked really well for artists such as Doja Cat and Lil Nas X. Her running with the symphony dolphin meme, you know, an older track I might add, but nonetheless it does play very well with the aesthetics of Midnight Sun. She even incorporated it into her tour. Taking advantage of a moment, I really... You go, Glen Coco! Furthermore, the Midnight Sun album, while I still consider it radio friendly, which is smart as maybe they don't want to alienate, you know, their entire audience so far. That aside, it is nonetheless more focused on a specific audience, not casting this very broad net, trying to appeal to everyone like her older albums. As if you appeal to everyone, you essentially appeal to no one. Also, my advice is that Zara and her team continue with this sun goddess image because it's clearly working, as people are finally associating her image and likeness to her work, lifting the bop artist curse. And sure, she can change or try another look. I'm not in control of her image, but I think this goddess aura she now has can be built upon further, as she cannot be at the same temperature throughout the entire year, if that makes sense. Or build personas around this new goddess aura instead of abandoning it altogether.
I definitely feel way more interest in me as a person, like as an artist, than I have for a long time. Because when you look at my career, it's quite interesting because I've had so many big songs and then another big song and another big song. But I feel like it's been a disconnect between like what I've released and who I am, like the artist behind it. And I feel like finally people are starting to piece the puzzle together a little bit.
With this stronger, recognizable image, a more distinguished sound, fans are finally paying close attention to Zara Larsson, and we see this with the increase of fan engagement online. However, like I mentioned, it still hasn't quite translated to the charts in the way that most want, but maybe that's a good thing, as Rome wasn't built in a day. Zara Larsson has been in the game since the 2000s, and so far has endured the rocky terrains of fame by not being phased and being consistent. In this age where fast fame comes to those who are undeserving, while real fame, real notoriety, are granted to those who worked for it, who earned it through hard work and years of dedication. So while it is true that Twitter and TikTok fanfare doesn't always translate to the charts, I think she is well on her way to being a household name. And delete that goddamn TikTok. What do you think? I am Don, your pop culture boy, and I will see you in the next one.
Irony. Don't you just love it?